Hi there, I'm Zoot Java. Today I'd like to talk about the United States Supreme Court, thinking about the religious rights of death row inmates. But first, if you could please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, please, it really helps me and I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, if you're following me on YouTube, there's a link below to two video hosting sites that you can use instead of YouTube, where I can speak about what I want to speak without being heavily censored or having my videos taken down. Thank you. Now, regarding this video, the Supreme Court was looking into whether federal law gives prisoners facing execution the right to have spiritual advisors in the death chamber who can pray aloud and touch them. The court took the case after blocking the execution of Texas inmate John Henry Ramirez. His lethal injection was scheduled for early September 2021. He says the state violated his religious rights by refusing to let his pastor pray audibly with him or perform a tradition known as a laying on of hands. Now, there was a courtroom argument for about an hour and a half, and some of the court's conservatives said they were worried that a ruling for Ramirez, who wants his pastor to be able to touch his foot during the procedure, would lead to a flood of lawsuits from inmates making a series of changing demands. We can look forward to an unending stream of variations, said Brett Kavanaugh. Samuel Alito also said, "Are we going to have to go through the entire human anatomy to determine what part of an inmate's body a pastor can touch without interfering with the execution?" Judge Stone, the Texas Solicitor General, said Ramirez is merely trying to delay his execution by shifting explanations of his religious needs and asking for a pastor to be present in the death chamber. But Chief Justice John Roberts wondered how the courts are supposed to determine when a prisoner's religious concerns are a pretext and when they are genuine. I suspect impending death focuses people's concerns on religion on a way they may not have had before. He said, "What about an inmate who seeks a religious conversion right before the execution?" Supreme Court has shown a growing concern in recent years about claims that states were denying the religious freedom of inmates facing the death penalty. The court blocked a scheduled execution in 2019 of another Texas inmate who said his religious freedom was violated because his Buddhist spiritual advisor wasn't allowed in. Now, Texas has banned all spiritual advisors from the execution chamber. And in 2020, Supreme Court stayed the execution of a Texas inmate, challenging the no advisors policy, so the state changed its policy again, but retained the prohibition on praying aloud or touching. Ramirez said that both he and his pastor believe that people either ascend to heaven or descend to damnation at the moment of death. Denying his pastor the traditional ministrations is a violation of religious freedom, he contended. Texas allows spiritual advisors to pray with and counsel an inmate until the prisoner is taken into the lethal injection chamber. Preventing them from speaking or touching an inmate from that point on preserves the execution team's ability to detect signs of distress, said the state. The protocol balances many factors, the state told the Supreme Court in its written filings, including maintaining uniformity in executions to reduce the opportunity for errors, the safety and privacy of execution personnel, the rights of the inmate, and closure for the victim's family and the community. Allowing an outsider to touch the inmate during the lethal injection poses an unacceptable risk to the security, integrity, and solemnity of the execution, said the state. 9 states, Arizona, Alabama, Arkansas, Idaho, Indiana, Louisiana, Montana, South Dakota, and Utah, urged the court to side with Texas. The safety and security of state execution protocols should not be subject to federal court micromanagement, they said in what is known as a friend of court brief. But several religious organizations, including the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, said the Texas prohibition burdens the religious freedom not only of inmates but also of their pastors in carrying out key actions of the ministry. Ramirez was sentenced to death for fatally stabbing a man 29 times during a convenience store robbery. He fled to Mexico and was later arrested and brought back for trial. The court is going to issue its ruling sometime in late June. So, what's my take on this? Well, I understand everybody's got the different types of religious beliefs and things that should be followed. However, seeing as how Ramirez feels so deeply about these things to be followed, seeing as how he is so worried about the soul transcending to heaven or going into the other place immediately upon death, I have to question whether he's really genuine in this, because what did he think? I'm curious to know if he phoned up a pastor to come over to the convenience store and have the pastor pray and touch the foot of the convenience store person while he stood there stabbing this person 29 times until they died. He has now caused this person's soul to immediately ascend or descend without the help of a pastor. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care if he gets anyone to say a word for him even before he goes into the death chamber. But I'll let him have that. As far as going in there, no. All he's doing is trying to push this off and push this off and hope that one day they're going to say, oh, you know what? We're not having a death penalty any longer. It's worked before for other prisoners. So, anyway, enough of that. Ridiculous. And now for my extremely bad joke. Got this goldfish, and I took it to the vet, and I said, there's something wrong with this goldfish. And he said, well, what do you think's wrong with your goldfish? I said, well, I think he's an epileptic. And the vet took a look at the goldfish, and he said, well, he seems to be fine to me. And he goes, oh, just wait till I take him out of the bowl and put him on the desk here. And the vet just turned to me and gave me this rather odd look. However, I insisted my goldfish is an epileptic. Anyway, enough of that. As I said before, please like, subscribe, and share my content on all your local media, social media, because I'm just, in the sights of YouTube. So, anyways, until later, have a Java on Zoot.